I'm your host, Ashleigh, and today we're tackling a topic that I believe is important for anyone looking to maximize their potential in any area of their life. The bigger picture of your brand and how to know if you're playing small. It's easy to get caught up in the daily hustle and overlook the larger vision for your brand and your life. But how do you know if you're truly reaching for the stars or you're just simply holding yourself back? In today's episode, we're going to dive deep into recognizing the signs that you might be playing small and how to break free from self-imposed limitations. We'll discuss the importance of the big picture perspective, not just for your brand success, but for your personal growth and fulfillment as well. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative, or anyone looking to make a big impact, or simply just to show up much bigger in life, this episode will help you evaluate where you stand and how to take bold steps towards a more expansive vision. So, are you ready to explore how to think bigger and act bolder? Let's get started. I think when we look at any area of our life where we want to show up bigger, or if you've been through a period in your life where you know deep in your core that you shrink yourself to the size of the people in the room, or you shrink yourself so you don't outshine somebody, or you don't want to show up in your full, big, expressive self because you're afraid of what might come of it. I think there's literally 5 ways, in my personal opinion, that you can look at your life and be like, oh, that's where I'm not showing up in A, my authentic self, or B, to the potential that I know I have, or this is exactly where I'm holding myself back. So if you look at your life first and you're like, I just want to start showing up bigger. I know that I'm an outgoing, energetic person, but when I step out into the world, I become quiet and reserved, and around other people I just get nervous and I don't know how to let that self out. I want you to identify in the moment, like if you're out and around people, what it is that makes you feel like you can't be this big, expressive or expansive version of yourself. Is it that, actually, personal experience for me, once upon a time it was because I didn't want to outshine anybody else, or I didn't want to take up quote unquote too much space, or I didn't want to be too much, or I didn't want to be, insert the word. So I shrunk myself to the version that I thought people wanted me to be. And in the end, what I realized was I just became this suffocated version of myself, where I felt like I was trying to squish myself into a box to become more likable, and all that happened was I ended up not liking myself. I became what I thought people wanted instead of just showing up how I was. And when you show up how you are, the right people gravitate towards you, and you have much more fulfilling interactions with people. You attract the people that you want to have in your life, or that want you to show up in the way that you're meant to, or the way that you know that you can. So in your life, look at, let's just start in your day-to-day life. Look up and start to evaluate how you show up. Are you holding yourself back in little ways? Like, you know that you're meant to get up 40 minutes before work because you need 40 minutes to be able to do A, B, and C, because you know that makes you feel a certain way and you get to look your best. Or do you love to dress up in extravagant clothing? Do you love to do your hair and makeup and you feel like you can't because when you go around certain people it's questioned? There are little ways that we micro change ourselves to fit in the box, to make ourselves small, to make ourselves more digestible in our heads, when really all we're doing is just hiding our own light that people need to see. So when I say look at the bigger picture for your brand, but then also yourself, I want you to think of this. The big picture being your life. How do you want to show up? I always think of this as main character energy. I am the main character of my story. And so the main character in any movie, any TV show, is the main character. And then the main character for a reason, and they show up a certain way. My favorite example is Blair from, what's the show? Whatever the show is, I cannot think of the name right now, but Blair Waldorf. Gossip Girl, thank God. From Gossip Girl. She shows up in her authentic self every time. And she doesn't care what people think. It's just, this is how I am and this is how I show up, and I'm going to show up in this way regardless. Same with the best friend, Serena. She's this light who she doesn't dim it for other people. So when you look at the big picture of your life, how do you want to show up? How do you want to take up space? Because it's more than okay to take up space. If it's in your brand, or you want to create a brand, and your first initial reaction is, oh, I just want to like start this brand just so like it can be, just some extra income. You're playing small. Think bigger. Think bigger than what it could possibly be. When I think of what I want for my life, it's so outrageous to other people, or it seems so far in the distance, that the person that I have to become is like 2 or 3 versions from me. The brand that I want, the impact that I want seems so far away. I've always been told when I set a goal, it's not realistic. That I've set something so far in the distance that it doesn't seem achievable, that it's not realistic enough. It is realistic for me, because when I look at that goal, or when I think about it, the version that I have to become is nowhere near the version that I am. That there is no playing small to get to that version, because I would have to become so bold, so brave, so courageous in the acts to get there, that playing small is not a possibility. A way that this can show up, actually playing small can show up in your business, and I've seen it a lot in the fitness space specifically. Having worked with and helping personal trainers build their businesses, having built a personal training business, one of the areas that I saw consistently is that the price point in which people place themselves at is below what they're worth. And I see that as a direct measure of them playing small. It could be a fear of, if I place my price up there, what will people think? What will people say if I place my price up there? And then on the flip side is being too afraid to speak your expertise. I did this for such a long time that I kind of gaslit myself in a way. I was like, I'm not experienced to talk on that, like at all. I am not the person to be talking on X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm not. When really I just had to accept it. But by me telling myself that or gaslighting myself essentially into the, no, you're not the person for that. I'm just holding myself back and playing small, because in my head it's a justification. Well, you're not there yet, so you don't get to talk about it. No, you are. But you just want to stay there and in this comfort zone. And the moment I picked up on that was the moment that it could change. Another way that people play small is avoiding risks. And this is both professionally and personally. A risk in a personal life could be deciding to move somewhere. A risk in your personal life could be moving in with a partner. You don't know how it's going to go. Risk shows up in everything. Risk in business could be knowing that you have the potential to open a gym, but you decide not to. Knowing that you have the potential to do X, Y, and Z, but you hold yourself back because you're like, who am I to do that? I don't think I could do that. That self-doubt starts to creep in, and you realize that you actually can, but it's a justification in order to keep you in place so that you can keep justifying playing small. Fear of failure also lumps into that avoiding risks. I used to do this where I'd overplay, I'd overthink, and I'd overthink all the possible scenarios to the point of I've thought of everything that could go wrong as well as everything that could go right, and then I can make my decision. And all that was doing was just stirring up the fear in me instead of just making a calculated decision in that moment to either move forward or pivot. And the next one, and I think this is both professionally and personally as well, is not investing in growth. Now, on a personal level, this could be investing in like a personal trainer, investing in somebody to do your nutrition, investing in somebody for therapy. Like all those investments lead to exponential growth in different ways. By hiring a therapist, you're able to work on your inner world, which is a direct reflection of your outer world. Hiring somebody to do your nutrition and your training is going to help you make you feel better, look better, bring you more attention, and you can no longer play small and hide behind that. Now, on a professional level, investing in growth could be looking for a mentor, biting the bullet and paying instead of downloading all the free courses, all the free ebooks, paying and investing in a mentor, long-term, not short-term, who's going to help you get from point A to point C as quickly as possible with growth in between. I was one of those people who once upon a time was like, I don't need to hire a mentor. Like, I'm good. I'll figure it out. But what I realized was hiring a mentor is like the thing that speeds up the process. Yeah, I could go figure it out myself, or I could just ask questions, or I could hire somebody who's going to tell me how to do it at a much faster rate. That comes with growth, though. You have to be willing to know that you're worth being invested in or being invested for, or whichever way you want to spin it. But when you don't invest in yourself, you're giving yourself permission to continue being in the place that you're in, which is playing small, whether that's professionally or personally as well. The next one, this only relates, in my opinion, to business, is a lack of clear understanding as to what you're building. Now, you might have an idea of what you want, but not an actual clear, this is the definite thing that I'm selling, this is how I'm going to get there, and this is why I want it, or this is what I'm going to be able to serve for people. So a lack of, let's say, messaging, or a lack of branding in certain things. Another one is underutilizing certain channels, especially on social media. Being able to show up in different ways, especially on social media platforms where you're literally putting yourself out to the world, in my opinion, is one of like the most ultimate, this is how I'm going to grow, this is how I'm going to show up, and you're putting it out for the world to see. You can't hide on the internet. Yeah, you can't hide on the internet. Not anymore. And being able to take the criticism or anything like, let's just call it criticism, or that comes your way, knowing that you can still stand strong in your messaging or what you want, is a place that you want to get to. But playing small and holding yourself back from opening yourself up to that exposure is not one way of doing it. Other ways that we show up small can differ from person to person. And the reasons behind showing up small is also different from person to person. It can stem from a place of fear, whether that be success, uncertainty, rejection, fear of failure, could be fear of success. There are so many different reasons. And then on the other side, it could be that you learned how to be safe by playing small. And all of that's valid. However, at some point, like I discussed in one of my other videos about you deciding what you want and what you're willing to do to get it, is making the conscious choice that no longer are you the co-star of your life. You are the main character, which means you need to show up effectively as the main character. Knowing that being your, loud self, or your funny self, or your whatever your self is, that you know that you're trying to fit into a box to stay small, to keep the peace, to whatever it is, insert your reason that you continuously play small, is the reason that you'll continuously stay stuck in that loop of not getting what you want, or not getting the results that you want, or not living the life that you want, or whatever it is. So whether it's your career, your personal life, or you're creating something from scratch, realize that the more that you put into it, the more you show up, the more authentic you are, the bigger you play, the bigger the results come back. And with that, I will leave you there so you can take some time to reflect on what it is exactly you, or what areas you know you play small. You already know what they are. You already know where they are. You know exactly how and when you hold yourself back, how you play small. You've just yet to acknowledge it. And the moment that you acknowledge it, remember, it comes from this big scary monster to this little thing that you can barely notice. Just acknowledge it. Accept that you are playing small, and the reason you've not got where you want to is because of that reason. Write them out, and then beside them, write the thing that you need to do in order to have what you want or get what you want, or how you need to change the playing small, playing safe, playing from a place of fear in order to get what you want. And I promise you it will be the best thing that you do. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I hope our discussion on the bigger picture and how to know if you're playing small has given you valuable insight and a fresh perspective on your own journey, or maybe it deeply resonates on some level. Remember, playing small can often be a subconscious choice, influenced by fear, comfort zones, or lack of clarity. But recognizing this is the first step to breaking free and stepping into your full potential, or the life that you want. Whether it's your career, personal life, or creative endeavors, don't settle for less than what you truly deserve and want. As we wrap up, take some time to reflect. Are you setting goals that challenge and excite you? Are you taking risks and pushing beyond your comfort zone? If not, what steps can you take and start thinking and acting bigger today? I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so please jump onto my social media and shoot me a message. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe or leave us a review and share it with others who might benefit from this conversation. Until next time, I'm your host, Ashleigh.